Season 9 of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is the final season to be released. Excuse me, but I just want to butt in for a moment. Hello, I want to clarify a few things. Apologies for my voice. I have a bit of a cold right now. This part of the audio is being recorded on the 22nd of June. However, everything else was recorded back on the 29th of March, which I believe was a few days or a week or something before Season 9 started. Fuck my voice. Everything in this video I say is oblivious to what is happening in Season 9 currently. I have yet to watch it. This video has stopped me from doing it. I have what I believe to be an amazing concept idea for Season 9 and its epic finale. I wanted to tell it so badly, but because this video has taken almost 3 months to finish, Season 9 is well into its first 11 episodes or something. This was supposed to come out before it aired. However, I became demotivated to work on it for well over a month, and instead lost myself in voice acting for a bunch of different projects. I just want to apologise for that, I'm sorry. You'll be delighted to know, however, that I haven't been spoiled on anything Season 9 related, and starting tomorrow, I will be recording my reactions to the episodes, cold and all. But not before I record the holiday special, Best Gift Ever, which I completely forgot about until Christian Galvin reminded me, so thank you for that. Today, of all days, he reminded me, lucky me. One final thing, I want to give a huge shout out to Pretty Pegasus Wings for helping me find a bunch of images for this video. Anywho, sorry for taking up so much time, enjoy the rest of this video. Oh, and I shall avoid comments for this video when it's posted until I have at least watched all of Season 9's current episodes. Please, do not comment about confirmed stuff that is still yet to release. Thank you. Enjoy. It is a sad day for us all, but hope is right around the corner, as Friendship is Magic is the 4th generation of the My Little Pony series. Generation 5 of the show will begin next year in 2020. But before all of that, Season 9. Welcome to my concept of what Season 9 could potentially be. Grab yourself a chair, some popcorn, and prepare to be blown away. I would like to give a small notice that this will contain spoilers for all previous seasons of the show. So, if you are not yet caught up, then I must insist you hightail it out of here, quick as you can, chop chop. For a short time now, I have had an idea lodged into the back of my head, my own story for My Little Pony, what I consider to be the perfect final season of the show. None of this is speculation, neither is it a leak, it is all original from my own mind. Since it's the final season, it has to be epic, and I think I have just the ticket. Cast your minds back a couple of seasons to Season 7, Episode 3, A Flurry of Emotions, to a scene in which Twilight is reading a book about the treacherous Grogar. For those unaware, Grogar is an old villain from the first generation of My Little Pony series that began in the 1980s. I have not seen the episodes he was featured in, and I don't want spoilers for them either. I am currently in the slow process of reacting to Generation 1, so I have stayed away from as much spoilers about Grogar as I can. I do know what he sounds like, however, as I once saw this video.
2 ponies attending Babscon and Princess Twilight Sparkle. It's been over 30 years since my last defeat. I have concocted a new spell that will help me speed my return.
But, for the purpose of this video, I am creating my own version of Grogar. I want his story to be the most insane of all the past G4 villains. So, this will be my interpretation of the character. No comparisons to G1 should be made, as I have not seen it yet. Here we go. Season 9 would be a season-long arc, similar to how Season 4 worked, but with a bit more detail. It'll take the form of subtlety, as much as it can though. There will be many hints, lots of background stuff, foreground stuff too. All of these hints will seem fishy, even to the characters themselves. They will often notice that something isn't right. The hints. These will consist of things happening in many episodes, which will allude to old villains returning. Chrysalis. Keep your eye on the background. There will be many duplicate ponies, much like how the early seasons had 5 Carrot Tops or 6 Minuets in the scene at one time. Only, this time, there is a legitimate reason for them to be there. Chrysalis, being the queen, has hatched a new changeling army, which is disguising themselves to better fit in the background in order to spy on ponies, to find out more on the main 6 and the princesses, to learn of certain things which could help them in their eventual takeover. Just a quick notice notice to whom it may concern. I'm about to mention something spoilery from the comics of MLP, which I accidentally found out myself. So if you're interested in the comics and want to avoid this information, please skip to this time on screen. Sombra. King Sombra was defeated back in Season 3. However, spoiler alert, Sombra has shown up in the comics apparently, so I've heard. So, he has potential to return. Dark black crystals are popping up all over Equestria. It'll be mentioned by the protagonists a few times throughout the season, whether through direct talk or via subtle background conversations by other characters, royal guards discussing them, suddenly appearing for example. You gotta keep your ears open at all times through this season. Sombra is the root of this. He's causing them to pop up. They are slowly sucking up the magic of Equestria and corrupting it. Later through the season, certain things will start to go wrong. Magical artifacts will start acting strange and becoming rather dangerous because of Sombra's magic. Now, with that all out of the way, Episode 5, the 200th episode of the series. I haven't really got a main idea for this episode, whether or not I wanted to tie in with the rest of the season-long arc and the 3-part finale, but maybe something could be subtly mentioned about the strange things that have been going on, or maybe some additional backstory on Grogar, who I want to be the main antagonist this season. Either way, this episode has to be twice as awesome as Slice of Life, the 100th episode, perhaps even being an extra long episode, 44 minutes as opposed to the usual 22 minutes. Focusing on stuff that the fans have wanted for so long, or perhaps things that would otherwise just be insane among a standard for a kid's cartoon. We've seen it done before, it's likely to happen again. Here comes the crazy stuff. Prepare Uranus and other orifices. Episode 24. The episode will start off with Grogar emerging from a dark shroud of magic after escaping the deepest depths of Tartarus. Grogar was the most terrifying evil to ever walk the land. He was banished from the world by the united forces of the unicorns, Pegasi, and Earth ponies. Back before Equestria was formed, his evil magic was so great, Tartarus itself was not enough to contain him, and so he was cast to the deepest, darkest void. The deep, seemingly never-ending chasms of darkness at the bottom of Tartarus. You thought Tyrek, Cozy Glow, and the other magical creatures had it bad. Grogar had it far worse. Trapped for eternity in complete silence, darkness, never aging, never dying, being left with nothing but his own thoughts. He found a way to escape. Grogar appears in the overworld, escaping through a black thicket of magic, almost like a portal in nature. His blood-red eyes are locked to the camera, streaks of lightning lashing behind him, and a laugh so crazy it would give Tyrion from Ruby a run for his money. Grogar sniffs out dark magic coming from all over the place, sniffing out Sombra's dark magic. He follows it to the source, Sombra, who is currently looking over Equestria through a crystal ball of all things, looking through it and seeing parts of Equestria untouched by his magic. His horn lights up, and through the crystal ball you can see dark crystals appearing out of the ground, infecting the land with his darkness. Grogar appears behind Sombra, who is startled by the appearance of the demonic-looking ram behind him. He prepares to defend himself, questioning the ram's identity. Nothing but a cold, deathly stare comes from the ram, and a heavy breath from his nostrils. Sombra, unsure of the ram's intentions, fires a beam of magic at Grogar. The blast is stopped by Grogar's mighty ram horns, deflected back at Sombra, causing him to crash to the ground. Grogar speaks. He tells Sombra that he has come to offer a proposition to him. Meanwhile, Chrysalis is sat in her new throne. Some of her new changelings report back to her, changing from ponies back to changelings. They inform her of some rather interesting news about the ponies. Just then, some commotion can be heard outside Chrysalis' throne. Suddenly, Grogar rams through one of the walls in Chrissy's throne room, charging through it with 3 changelings taking the brunt of the attack. Chrysalis, completely stunned, scared, and confused, asks the intruder who he is and what he wants. Sombra steps out from behind Grogar, who finally answers. He proposes an alliance. He asks if there are any others who would gladly join the alliance. Chrysalis speaks of Tyrek and the more recent Cozy Glow, who were defeated. She believes they would like a chance at revenge.
Tirek and Cozy, still trapped in their cages, bored out of their minds playing I Spy of all things, are met with a large crash when the gates of Tartarus are suddenly flung open with a great force. Cerberus leaps into action to take out any intruders, but is quickly dispatched by Grogar, using a device around his neck, a bell, that is the source of his power. His horns light up with energy, and they fire at Cerberus, shrinking him to the size of a tiny puppy. Grogar, Chrysalis, and Sombra all walk up to Tirek and Kozyglow, the two of them completely shocked at what they just witnessed. Grogar introduces himself and offers an alliance. Before freeing them, Cozy briefly talks of revenge for her defeat, and Tirek simply clenches his fists, saying he's coming for Twilight and her meddlesome friends, especially the pink pony for driving him crazy the last time he saw her, and laughs. The five of them are now sat around a large table in Chrysalis's new changeling hive. They discuss their individual plans for taking over Equestria. Grogar simply declares that he wants to see suffering. He wants to witness the others have their sweet revenge plans set in motion. Sombra wants to enslave all ponies to do his bidding, the Crystal Empire being his castle, to rule over a kingdom forever. Tirek wants the magic of all ponies to be his own. Kozyglow wants to amass a following of friends and gain power, because friendship is power in her eyes. Chrysalis wants to feed off all remaining love in Equestria, to feed herself and her newly hatched changelings. They will never starve again. Grogar will be satisfied once the last light in Equestria dies. He wants all of pony kind to experience the darkness he was once trapped in for thousands of years. Around the 10 to 12 minute mark of the episode, everything begins. Ponies realize their magic is being stolen, this by the hands of Tirek. The princesses and the main six leap into action to find the source, immediately suspecting Tirek and Kozyglow are up to no good once again, and head to Tartarus. Upon arrival, they see Tartarus is empty, minus Tirek, who is towering above them. He steals all remaining magic from Twilight and her friends, and he throws them in a cage in Tartarus. After doing so, he seals the doors tight with his magic. The School of Friendship, currently being ran by Starlight, temporarily while the main six are busy, is suddenly met by Kozyglow. Starlight, not willing to believe Cozy's words, questions her presence. Just then, Twilight and the others show up. Twilight explains that Cozy is sorry for what she did, and that Equestria is under attack by Tirek, who has escaped. Not only that, but she says both Chrysalis and King Sombra have returned for revenge, and are gathering armies to take down the forces who oppose them. Cozy wants to help out, feeling bad for the stuff she did in the past. Starlight then has no choice but to trust Twilight, and forgives Kozyglow. This, of course, is a lie. The main six are in Tartarus. These are changelings in disguise. Cozy is told by Twilight to look after the school, while Starlight goes with her and the others. Changeling Starlight calls for a meeting with every pony in school to explain Kozyglow is back and is here to help. They explain that Tirek and Chrysalis are back for revenge, and that the main six are handling it. The Changeling Starlight explains to the school that Twilight told them that Cozy was reformed. The school believes Starlight, they have no reason not to. Meanwhile, the real Starlight is led by the fake main six to a trap devised by Chrysalis, who is wanting revenge for Starlight, foiling her plans in the past. The Crystal Empire's castle is turning into dark crystals thanks to Sombra. However, even Sombra's magic isn't this powerful on its own. Tirek met back up with Sombra to help use his magic to amplify Sombra's dark magic. The castle turns black, and all the ponies' magic in the Empire is corrupted. Shining Armor and Cadence are met face to face with Sombra, who is back for revenge. He and Tirek lock down the castle. Both Shining and Cadence, along with Florryheart, are locked down below in Sombra's prison, which he keeps at the bottom of his newly corrupted tower. But not before Tirek steals their magic. Later, Luna and Celestia are then met with Tirek, Sombra, and Chrysalis, who are staring back at them. Grogar steps out in front of them. Luna and Celestia are unaware of who this creature is. Once revealing to them his name, Celestia is startled. She claims to have read all about Grogar. There are countless stories of him, but only one of them is true. An old, tattered scroll locked away in the deepest drawer of the Starswell the Bearded library. It speaks of the horrors Grogar once caused for all creatures before Equestria was founded. Celestia quickly warns Sombra, Chrysalis, and even Tyrek to be wary of having Grogar in charge. As villainous as the trio are, they are considered angels by comparison to their new leader. He will spell the end of everything, including them. Grogar cuts off the pony's words and uses his magic to crumble the ceiling above them, causing it to collapse on the princesses. He walks up to their now broken bodies and tells them just how much he has enjoyed waiting for this day to arrive. Tyrek sucks out all remaining magic they had inside of them. Sombra puts slave helmets on them, and Chrysalis orders a couple of changelings to take their place and become the 2 new princesses. Any creature that comes to Celestia and Luna will now be falling into a trap. Their job is to give the princesses a bad name by doing every questionable decision the princesses would never come to. The episode ends with Grogar explaining how this is the beginning of the end for all of Equestria. He laughs in a sinister manner, and the episode ends on a to-be-continued screen. This is where the story becomes insane. You thought it was already? Just wait. Episode 25. Things look bleak for Equestria. The main 6 have been thrown in Tartarus. The magic creatures once kept there and imprisoned have been set loose and corrupted by King Sombra's magic, including Cerberus. Sombra has Celestia and Luna, as well as every other pony in the Crystal Empire, as his personal slaves. Cadence, Shining Armor, and Florryheart are locked in Sombra's labyrinth beneath the Crystal Tower. Changelings have replaced Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, and are making questionable decisions for Equestria to create anger and hate amongst ponies in Equestria. Starlight is in the clutches of Chrysalis, who has her cocooned, while she prepares the revenge she has planned for her. The School of Friendship is being run by a fake Starlight and Cozy Glow, who has every pony fooled into thinking she has turned over a new leaf, but not every creature is fooled. The Student 6 suspect Cozy and investigate. Meanwhile, Lord Tyrek has reached the Tree of Harmony. He sucks the magic from the tree and the elements, and grows to a colossal size. He begins rampaging and destroying the Everfree Forest and its surrounding areas, causing meaningless destruction for his own amusement. The Student 6's fears are soon realized. A changeling is disguised as Starlight, and Cozy hasn't been reformed at all. They overhear the 2 of them talking about Twilight and the others being taken care of, and how they will experience just how lonely it feels trapped in Tartarus. The students make a plan. Spike is asked to send a letter to Princess Celestia to ask for help. Spike informs them that it won't do any good. Celestia and Luna have both started to act very differently, making terrible decisions for Equestria, which has got every creature worried. He suspects they have been replaced by changelings, so instead they make a plan to write a letter to Starswell. He and the Pillars may be their last hope. The letter details everything they need to know. Thankfully, the Pillars had already been investigating the problem. They know that there are at least 2 armies which have amassed in different locations, as well as a giant centaur rampaging about the place. Now they know of Cozy Glow trapping the main 6 in Tartarus. They make a plan to split up. They plan to amass a few armies of their own. Flash Magnus journeys to the Land of the Dragons in hopes of persuading them to help. With Dragon Lord Ember at the helm, she agrees to help and orders the dragons to help her and Flash Magnus take on Sombra's forces. Mistbane does her best to recruit the Hippogriffs. However, they want to stay out of the conflict. The Storm King was enough for them. They can't handle another war. Somnambula, on the other hand, has better luck with the Griffins. At first, they were stubborn to the idea, but she is apparently very convincing. The Griffins, led by Somnambula, head towards Tyrek and aim to take him down. Mage Meadowbrook convinces with ease the changelings. Thorax and Pharynx make a plan and head to take on Chrysalis and her new army of changelings alongside Mage Meadowbrook. Meanwhile, Starswell is having difficulty trying to convince the Kirin to join the cause. Sadly, they wish to remain living in peace. The good news is, Rockhoof had no trouble at all convincing the Yaks to help open the doors to Tartarus and free the main 6. This is where the awesome back and forth montages of awesome epic battles between the Griffins versus Tyrek, the Dragons versus the mind control ponies of Sombra, and the Changeling War ensues. There are losses on both sides. Heroes and villains fall. Here is where I think it would be quite awesome to have a song sung by the army of Yaks marching towards Tartarus during this montage. Just picture it. An epic song of war sung by none other than the Yaks. The montage ends with the doors of Tartarus being slammed open after repeated attempts of multiple Yaks ramming their heads to the rhythm of the song into the doors. Rockhoof frees the main six from their cell and explains to them the situation. Twilight tells the others to go help the students and Spike take down Cozy Glow and keep the rest of the school safe, while she goes to Canterlot to find Celestia and Luna and help them. Just then, Spike flies through the doors to Twilight to give her a huge hug. After the hug, he explains that he managed to sneak away from the school without Cozy noticing. She explains to him her plan. Spike exclaims that he wants to go with Twilight to save the princesses, while Rainbow Dash decides she wants to go and help out Flash Magnus in the Crystal Empire. Twilight shuts down her idea and says it's too far by flight. Not only that, but the frozen north is too dangerous without the use of a train, none of which are running. So the main six, minus Twilight and Spike, head back to Ponyville in hopes of taking down Cozy Glow. The Yaks and Rockhoof, for the time being, stay to guard Tartarus until new plans are later made. Twilight and Spike reach Canterlot and find the fake princesses. Twilight asks them what happened to the real princesses. She receives no answers. She then quickly takes them both down with her magic and makes them confess. Twilight is told that Celestia and Luna are in the Crystal Empire. Twilight thinks of a way to get there. The only way is for her to power up her magic enough to teleport that long of a distance. But she'd need a lot of it for that to work. She flies back to Ponyville to her friends. Cozy bumps into the main six, not to mention the CMC and also the Student Six, who are all cornering her and the Changeling Starlight. The Student Six restrain her and keep her from going anywhere. Just then, Twilight and Spike show up and are surprised to see Cozy already taken down. She asks the others to give their magic to her. They all agree. Twilight uses the same spell Tyrek used to steal magic, and takes as much as she can. She powers up enough to be able to use it all in one super powerful teleport. She says she must go to the Crystal Empire and save the princesses, Cadence, Shining, and Floryheart. Her friends want to help, so they grab onto her and they all disappear in a blinding flash of light. Once there, a massive war is being witnessed. It's horrific. They proceed to the castle and see Sombra, as well as Celestia and Luna in mind-controlled helmets. Sombra orders them to attack. Twilight tells her friends to stay back. She fights Luna and Celestia in a cool magic battle. It finally comes down to Twilight in a beam struggle against the two alicorns. The beam hits Twilight, and she collapses to the floor. She looks injured beyond all repair. Sad music plays. Sombra laughs. A montage of wars happen. Dragons, griffins, and changelings all fall, and the sad looks on the protagonists' faces are heartbreaking. Chrysalis laughs, and so does Tyrek. And finally, we see Grogar at the top of the world with a huge grin on his face. He proclaims,
"The time has almost arrived. Soon."
The episode ends on his chilling words, and is to be concluded next episode. Episode 26. The final 44-minute episode. Yes, you heard me correctly. The final episode should be twice the length. It opens with Twilight struggling to get up. Celestia and Luna walk up to her and begin charging their magic. Twilight pleads to them, tears in her eyes, crying and in pain. She calls out to her mentor Celestia and the Princess of the Night. Things look bad for Twilight. Until suddenly, they both turn around and fire at King Sombra, who is hit with maximum force. Everyone is shocked. Celestia and Luna remove their helmets and say that they were never under control all along. They were too strong to be controlled. They just waited for the opportune moment to strike. Celestia apologizes to Twilight for attacking her. She says that they needed to make it convincing to Sombra. The injured king gets up, but barely. He says that it's not over yet, and before they have a chance to take him out for good, he disappears into a dark portal of magic. Twilight is helped up and healed by Celestia and Luna's combined magic. They all make a plan. Twilight and the others think of grabbing the elements from the Tree of Harmony, but Celestia and Luna explain how Tyrek has sucked the tree dry of all its magic. They overheard Sombra mention it. The next idea is for them to get to work taking off the helmets of the ponies, but it wasn't going to be easy with all of them still in mid-conflict. Celestia and Luna use their royal cantaloupe voices to tell the dragons to focus on swooping down and taking the helmets off the ponies. And so, the dragons get to work removing each of the helmets, while Celestia and Luna stay there to oversee things and help out. Spike volunteers to go looking for the Crystal Heart, as that will help put everything back to normal. Twilight believes in him. She and her friends need to get to the next place and help out. That being the Changelings. Twilight asks the princesses if she can borrow their magic so that she has enough power to get there via teleportation. Celestia has a better idea. Instead of giving over the magic she and her sister will surely need for the ensuing battles ahead, she offered to take Twilight and her friends to Chancellor Naysay, who has a medallion that lets him travel anywhere he wants throughout Equestria, when he pleases. Normally, teleporting to the Chancellor from the Crystal Empire would be impossible without additional magic. But Celestia's teleport spell is far stronger. The EEA is closer, so instead they go there. Once there, convincing Naysay to help out was a cinch. Equestria was in more danger than ever before. Of course he would help out. Celestia goes back to Luna and looks over things at the Crystal Empire. Luna goes looking for Cadence, Shining, and Flurry, all while Spike continues his search for the Crystal Heart. Twilight and her friends, now with the medallion, go to the Changeling battle to take down Chrysalis. There, they see Starswell, who is currently with Mistmane, who both wound up there to help out with the Changelings and Mage Meadowbrook after they both failed to recruit the Hippogriffs and the Kirin to fight. The main six and Starswell devise a plan. Mistmane's magic beautifies everything, so she uses her magic to beautify the land around them, causing all the bad Changelings to stop and to be stunned by such beauty. They crave love, and the amount of love that went into creating such a beautiful place draws them into it. While they are all momentarily distracted, Thorax gives a speech to all the Changelings.
We are one. Love is to be shared, not fought over. It's too beautiful for conflict. You don't have to fight over love. Just share it. There is enough of it to go around for every creature. Look at us. We are surviving on love just fine. We have plenty of friends who share it with us, and it's wonderful. Look at you. Your queen has you starved because she is too blind to see what is right in front of her. There is a place for all of you here. Join us, and together, united as one, none of us will ever have to starve again.
Every Changeling stops the fighting and realizes that Thorax is right, so they agree to join. Every one of Chrysalis's Changelings begin to transform in a burst of magical light. Meanwhile, Chrysalis is in her throne with Starlight. The two are talking. Starlight is cocooned, but still able to answer back to her captor. Chrysalis tells her how what she has in store for Starlight is frightening. She tries to scare Starlight, but her repeated attempts fail. Starlight knows her friends will come to her aid and stop her. Chrysalis, almost going insane after hearing the main six mentioned, snaps back at Starlight in crazed anger. She expresses that nothing will stop her now. Right as she finishes her words, the main six, Thorax, and the three pillars all smash through the wall of her throne room like the Kool-Aid Man and prove her wrong. Out of desperation, Chrysalis threatens them to stay back or she'll harm Starlight. Mistmane steps forward and tells Chrysalis how she reminds her of a dear old friend, Sable Spirit, who was once driven by greed. She wanted the most beautiful palace in all of Equestria. It was at the cost of every pony in the kingdom's happiness. Until one day, Mistmane made a sacrifice that inspired her friend to stop being greedy and to rule her kingdom with kindness and compassion. Twilight adds how she was changed by friendship by moving to Ponyville. No longer being lost in her books, no time to make friends, she instead went on to be the Princess of Friendship and run a school to teach friendship to all creatures alike. Starswell then adds that thanks to Twilight and her friends, he has learned more about friendship since he and the Pillars have returned than he ever learned throughout his many years of life. It was at this moment that something unbelievable was happening. Chrysalis had tears in her eyes and was beginning to finally understand where she was going wrong all her life. But she instead lets go of Starlight and flees the scene through a dark portal, vowing that they haven't seen the last of her yet. Only one thing left to do. They once again use Chancellor Naysay's magical medallion to travel to Tyrek and the impending battle. The portal opens up, and they each walk through. Before the portal closes, every changeling flies through, one by one, and attack Tyrek head-on and aid the Griffins in battle. Twilight then suddenly has an idea. While Tyrek is distracted fighting both armies, she wants Starswirl and Starlight to use their magic to restrain Tyrek. Using their magic to create giant claws made of magic, they grab each of Tyrek's arms and hold them in place. Twilight then uses the same spell she used earlier to borrow her friend's magic, the very same spell Tyrek uses to steal magic. She fires it at Tyrek. However, she knows all the magic inside of him is too much for her to handle. So instead of transferring to Twilight, all the magic leaves Tyrek and builds up collectively into a giant ball of magic in the sky. Once it's all collected and Tyrek is shrunken down to his weaker state, the ball explodes and all the magic flies back to its respective owners, and the Tree of Harmony also. Tyrek then escapes through a dark portal when every creature is distracted by the beautiful display of magic flying everywhere. The main six make a plan to grab the elements of harmony and head to the final destination. Meanwhile, Spike finds the heart and puts it back where it should be. Around the same time, Luna finds Flurry, Cadence, and Shining. The crystal heart turns all of the ponies back to normal. Every pony celebrates. Elsewhere, Tyrek, Chrysalis, and Sombra all meet up with Grogar and express their deepest apologies for failing him. Grogar is infuriated with them for their failure. He threatens them all for ruining everything. They try to explain how they are all in this together and that they need to make one final stand. They could turn the tide and win. However, before the plan can be finished, a portal opens up, and our heroes step out. The main six, Spike and Starlight, the Pillars, Luna, and Celestia, they all stand there and say how it's all over. If they try anything, they have an army of changelings, griffins, dragons, and yaks, as well as ponies at the ready to fight them. Twilight exclaims that they have lost and should give up. Tyrek speaks. He says that it isn't over. With Grogar by their side, they will take Equestria back. Celestia steps forward and speaks of Grogar's evil, what he planned to do before he was locked up in the deepest trench of Tartarus.
You wonder why Grogar was sent to the deepest, darkest abyss, and you were only sent to the upper levels of Tartarus? It's because what he planned to do. Grogar wants Equestria to be silenced forever. He doesn't want to rule it. He doesn't care for slaves, or power, or feeding off love. His plan was to end everything. Complete removal of all life, not just genocide, but everything. The land we live in, wiped out for good. Is that what any of you want?
Sombra, Tyrek, and Chrysalis are shook. Eyes wide, nothing to say. Just shocked silence. Grogar breaks the silence.
This world is sickening. I can't stand the sight of it. Everything that has ever existed is diseased. Life is a plague that has spread too far. I will find a way to end it all. Everything that has a beginning must surely have an end. And I plan to make that a reality.
Celestia talks to all three villains who are now shocked.
You see? He's completely insane! He wants everything gone! Not just us, but you three too! Everything! Please, don't help him. I know all the things you have done in your lives have been irredeemable. But we are willing to accept you, befriend you, and be as one if you stop and come to our side. Better that than to aid a creature hell-bent on destroying everything you live for!
After hearing that, the three villains all walk towards the protagonists. Chrysalis gives in first. She walks up to Celestia with tears in her eyes. Celestia nods her head in acceptance, and Chrysalis stands beside her. Sombra goes next, and stands next to Chrysalis. He looks up at her with a sadness on his face. Celestia calls out to Tyrek.
Tyrek, are you joining us?
Tyrek merely sighs in defeat. He walks up to Twilight Sparkle. She looks up at him in confusion and simply speaks his name. Tyrek closes his eyes for a brief second and takes a deep breath before holding out his hand to Twilight and says,
"Forgive me.
She shakes his hand, and he walks over to Celestia and stands next to her. Grogar, completely enraged at this point, screams,
"You miserable failures! You only needed to help me! I gave you what you wanted! You had it all! You were at the top of things, and you threw it all away! And now you're siding with them? The very creatures that have defeated you time and time again?"
Chrysalis responds first.
My whole life, I have fought to feed my subjects, my race, my family. Now, I don't even have that. I've lost them all. But if I stand with them, I think I can finally be happy. I have nothing left to lose.
Sombra chips in.
I used to have a kingdom until it changed who I was. I controlled the very people who used to adore me. And I lost it all to the hoofs of these ponies. And I lost again. And again. How can I be a king without a kingdom? Perhaps I'll never be a king again. But at least this way, I can finally live in peace. I'm tired of conflict and war.
Tyrek responds.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Grogar then begins to build up his magic and fires at Celestia. But it's deflected by Discord, who shows up out of nowhere.
Oh, so sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything?
Discord!
Fluttershy! Will you be down for a tea party at my place on Wednesday? My treat.
Oh, that would be lovely. Oh, but, Discord?
Now then, who do we have here? You must be Grogar. I've heard so much about you the past hour. There I was, catching a ludicrous amount of sleep that I surely needed. When I finally woke up, I go looking for Fluttershy, and after asking around, I hear of everything that has happened in my absence. It appears that I have missed yet another thrilling adventure.
Grogar responds in sheer confusion.
Who in Tartarus are you?
Discord is shocked.
What? You seriously mean to tell me you've never heard of me? Discord? Master of Chaos? Is that not ringing any bells? Pun intended.
After receiving nothing but confused looks from Grogar, Discord is infuriated.
Oh, come on! Fine. In that case, I have no time for you, whatever your name is. Goodbye, arrivederci, dosvadonya.
Discord snaps his fingers and a portal to another dimension opens up behind Grogar. After being stunned by the portal's sudden appearance, Discord is suddenly dressed in a tennis outfit.
Batter up!
Discord smacks a tennis ball into Grogar, sending him backward into the portal.
No!
Grogar is defeated. The others ask where Discord sent him, and he says,
Oh, I wouldn't worry about him. He won't be causing any more trouble where he's going, that's for sure.
Now, you, the viewer, gets to decide where Discord sent Grogar. I want to hear all your creative comments down below. Discord uses his magic to repair everything in Equestria. After doing so, he leaves to go have another nap. Rebuilding an entire civilization in the snap of a finger is no easy task. Celebrations happen in Equestria. Ponies and creatures alike receive medals and praise for all their hard work they did during the fight with Grogar. Sombra is accepted into the Crystal Empire as a real king, ruling alongside Cadence and Shining Armor. There will be some trust issues for a while, but Celestia is making sure every creature is forgiven and accepted in Equestria. The last thing they want is to make more enemies.
Chrysalis rules alongside Thorax and Pharynx in the Changeling Kingdom with her newly reformed look.
And Tyrek is put in charge of guarding Tartarus, as it seems Cerberus isn't doing his job as well as he ought to be. He has repeatedly failed at his job and now lives in Fluttershy's animal sanctuary alongside the other animals. Cozy Glow is now accepted as a student in the School of Friendship and has made friends with the Student 6 and the CMC, who will show her what friendship is really about. The main 6 are then offered the job of ruling over Equestria, Celestia speaks highly of them and says that they are much more capable of protecting the world than she and Luna are. Twilight and her friends decline her offer, however, as they have become very fond of running the School of Friendship and teaching their students, but they will always be there for Equestria as its protectors. Celestia accepts their refusal and gladly understands. A time skip then happens, and we see Equestria 10 years later. The CMC are all grown up, the main 6 all have statues of themselves in the Canterlot Gardens. The student 6 now run the school as the new teachers, with guidance counselor Starlight still working alongside them, while the main 6 focus all their time on keeping Equestria safe from future conflict. The series ends with Celestia narrating the final scene, with it finally ending on the book, closing after its final words are read. The end. So there you have it, the series ends as it began. The perfect ending in my opinion. But what did you think of my idea for Season 9? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Just quickly, I would like to give a huge shout out to Optic Rainfall for voicing Thorax, and Pretty Pegasus Wings for voicing Celestia and Chrysalis for the video. With all this said and done, I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheerio!